to Clarissa's Kitchen. Today we are going to talk about tofu. If you're vegan, vegetarian, or if you just generally like tofu like myself, this is the right place for you to watch this video. And I will say, full disclosure, I am not a dietitian, I'm not a nutritionist, I am not the full level expert of tofu, but I have grown a newfound appreciation and love for tofu over this past, I would say, half year. And I thought it was just time to have this open discussion with you guys and talk more about tofu. Now, before I start, make sure that you hit that thumbs up, subscribe right down below, and turn on those notification bells because there's gonna be a lot more videos, healthy recipes, food hauls, taste test videos that will be coming your way. And just truthfully, I really appreciate it because it helps grow my channel. So let's begin. Talking about my discovery with tofu. My boyfriend went through a huge health situation and we basically had to move towards a vegan diet. So not only am I 100% gluten-free, but I would say I'm like 80% vegan at this time, because maybe 85% vegan. And also I really do enjoy it. Let's move on to the soy myth, okay? And what I mean by this controversial topic about soy increasing the estrogen level of people, whether male or female. And granted, males don't like it as much, which is why they stay away from tofu. So I'm not gonna talk about too much of this topic, but I will say tofu is used in many different types of cuisines, especially Asian cuisines. I'm not trying to lean you into just absolutely loving tofu. I am just kind of talking about my own experience and showing you a deeper love of tofu that I have that I'm gonna be incorporating in these recipes coming up in 2023. So that's also why I'm telling you guys too. Let's dive into the types of tofu. If you guys are not aware, there's many varieties of the texture, softness of tofu, going all the way from like really soft tofu, which is called soon tofu. And as you can see, this comes in a cylinder plastic package. Believe it or not, this is like less than $2, or maybe if at most $2. It is so inexpensive and I love it. And then basically you cut it, you pour it out, or you can cut them into like blocks. You could rip it apart easily, throw them into the soup, throw them into the smoothie, and you get extra protein. It's great. Going on to firm tofu. Again, organic firm tofu. Trader Joe's sells this, which is amazing. Usually they kind of put their tofu section in the top of the fridge section. It's really interesting how I swear, I'm getting all these distractions right now from people outside. This is maybe like $2 or maybe up to $3 at most. But again, so much more convenient and less expensive than regular protein, which I really like. So this is really great. And it does have an expiration date, but not as quick as regular protein, like meat protein, would expire. Okay, this is my favorite type of tofu to cook lately. It's organic. It's organic. I found this at Trader Joe's and it's high in protein. It's super firm, or what I consider like extra firm. And you could tell it's extra firm because it comes in a plastic packaging, different than this like hard plastic packaging. If it's moving around and being shipped and stuff, you don't want to destroy this. This is something that you can like easily break and anything like that. This has 14 grams of protein per serving size. There's 5 serving sizes. So do the math there. It's a lot of protein and I absolutely love it. Moving on to the next topic, we're gonna talk about ways to cut tofu. Whether you take this as inspiration or really try it on your own, these are recipes that I pretty much gravitate towards on a weekly basis. So I'm excited to share with you. I will do some voiceover, just keep on following along and let's make the recipes. In these 3 recipes, I'm using super firm and firm tofu. To be honest, I still have a tofu press on my list to get, but here I'm showing you the quicker way to cheat of removing excess liquid from your tofu, which is using a clean dish towel, wrapping the tofu, and using a heavy item to press it down for about 5 to 10 minutes. For this first recipe, I call this my tofu rice bowl. I'm using the super firm tofu. I sliced in thirds like so, then flip sideways and slice into thirds again. In total, you should have 9 pieces like so. Set aside and let's thinly slice a few garlic cloves. The more the merrier in my opinion, as I love garlic, but 3 to 4 garlic cloves is a perfect amount. Tip with the garlic is to always remove the ends to discard. Remove the ends of 2 green onion stalks, and the white part is what we'll use to cook with, and the green part is what we'll use to garnish with. By this time this video is posted, you will be able to find a back to basics video on my Instagram or TikTok showing you different ways to cut a green onion. And if you aren't following me already, you can find me at Clarissa's Kitchen. 2 essential ingredients I use most with my daily recipes are smoky barbecue coconut aminos and regular coconut aminos. You can usually find this at Trader Joe's or Amazon. Add about 2 to 3 tablespoons of both smoky barbecue and regular coconut aminos in a small bowl. Add some black pepper and mushroom powder to give some umami flavor. I usually measure with my heart, but those that like specific measurements, I've also listed the recipe down below in the description box. In a large skillet, add some olive oil and bring to medium-high heat. Add the tofu sticks, sprinkle some onion salt, and sear for about 2 to 3 minutes, then flip. Add the sauce mixture, then green onions and garlic. Once you get a good sear on both sides with the sauce starting to caramelize, reduce the heat to medium-low. Super firm tofu can be tough and chewy if overcooked. How I like to plate this is on a warm bed of rice, which in this case I'm using forbidden rice, but you can also opt for brown rice, wild rice, or white rice, whichever you prefer. Then add some of the sauteed green onion and garlic and tofu slices. Garnish with green onion, and you have yourself a balanced, hearty, and delicious meal. If you're making this just for yourself, you can make this into a meal prep for the next day, just like I did here. Just make sure that everything is cooled down before putting into the fridge. Next recipe is a tofu scramble. I'm using firm tofu for this recipe, and if you want to kick it up a notch, I recommend freezing the whole pack of tofu the night before and defrosting it in the fridge the next day until ready to cook. This gives the tofu a nice meaty texture, perfect for a scramble. As we have done before, remove the excess liquid from the tofu by wrapping it in a towel. There's a few ways tofu scramble is done, and although I've tried most of them, the one I'm showing you is ultimately the way I like to make it. There's no wrong way of doing it though. Add olive oil to a large skillet and cook the tofu on medium heat. Then the easiest part is to start crumbling the tofu with your hands. Add some cumin, onion salt, black pepper, garlic powder, onion powder, and the most essential ingredient, ground turmeric. Not for taste, but for color. You can also add nutritional yeast if you want the umami flavor, or mushroom powder also works as well. And look how similar this looks to an actual egg scramble. At least to me it is. It's so tasty, and either I eat it on its own with some avocado slices or in a breakfast taco or burrito. Last recipe is what I like to call tofu firecracker wings. I'm using extra firm or super firm tofu. In one pan, add gluten-free panko, and season with salt, black pepper, and garlic powder. Right now at Trader Joe's, they have this sriracha and roasted garlic barbecue sauce that is so bomb and delicious. Add some sauce into a pan, and essentially we're gonna coat the tofu in the sauce first, then the panko. Lay out with some space on a lined parchment baking sheet and spray with oil for extra crispiness. I use foil, which I made the mistake of doing, so don't copy me and just use parchment paper instead to prevent from sticking. Using the air fryer will also make these wings even more crispy, so if you have this, I highly recommend using it. Once done, stack them high, garnish with some green onion, and there you have it. It's the best firecracker tofu wings that I like to consider almost chicken wings, but really not. The flavor, the crunch is there, especially for leftovers the next day. Crisp them up again in the oven or the air fryer, and it is absurdly delicious. And that's it, my foodies. I hope you guys enjoyed this whole video about tofu. Hopefully now you guys have a newfound appreciation for tofu if you guys haven't loved tofu already. And if I had missed out on anything or if I should know something, please definitely interact down below in the comment section. I'd love to read it and better understand it, and maybe I make a part 2. But for these recipes that I shared with you guys and doing some demonstrations about how to cut tofu, how to cook tofu, hopefully you guys can take some insights with you. And if you haven't done so already, like, subscribe, turn on those notification bells right down below, and I'll see you guys next time in Clarissa's Kitchen.